Hey guys, in today's episode, I am joined by Rena Harris, aka Mama Melanin, to discuss the incredible community she's built with her page at Melanin Ravers, as well as some of the changes we're hoping to see in the EDM community to embrace inclusivity and representation of people of color. We also have to chat about Rena's incredible sense of style and her love of the genre hardstyle. So without further ado, let's get into today's episode. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Rave Culture Cast, your weekly guide to the EDM community, music festivals, and more. I am your host, Emma Kapotes. What is up, everybody? How are we feeling this week? I am so hella pumped about today's episode. You guys, we're bringing the energy, so I hope you're all ready. Happy Wednesday. Let's just jump right into things. I want to start off by saying, again, a huge thank you to everyone who has supported the merch line, which is out. Everybody's getting their stuff in and tagging me in photos, and it's amazing. It is so freaking exciting to see you guys with your mugs and your beanies and your t-shirts and your tank tops. So thank you guys so much for supporting the line. If anybody wants to pick anything up, there will be a link in the description to check out the merch line. And you guys can also always follow along with us on social media at raveculturecast and at Emma Kapotes to stay in the loop with everything we've got going on. I'm trying to do a lot with this podcast lately. I'm getting new people on the podcast. We have a new YouTube channel, Rave Culture Cast Clips, which shows weekly highlights and bonus clips with our guests. So you always have all that fun stuff to check out. But without further ado, I want to jump right in to our first segment, Listener of the Week. So for anybody who is new here, first off, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for checking it out. I always forget that we might have some new listeners here, so welcome. If any of you guys know of a friend, family member, Rave fam who needs some content to listen to, some nostalgia, I can't talk, definitely send them a link to this podcast today. You guys know the drill. Screenshot this, make it your Instagram stories, the whole thing. Anyway, so our Listener of the Week segment. This is when I shout out you guys. I celebrate you. I want to know about people in this community, some of our listeners, and I just want you to gloat about yourself, right? This is when we're going to shout you out. So this one comes from Chelsea at Chelsea on Instagram. It says, "Hey Emma, just wanted to give a quick shout out to my best friend and husband, Evan. He introduced me to trance music back in 2012 when we got together, and I immediately fell in love with the genre and community. We have been to so many shows ever since, and I live for the memories we create together with our friends. Our favorite artists are Armin van Buuren and Gareth Emery, both of whom inspired Evan to start producing music this year." Amazing. His artist name is Sporkzee, Z-E-E, that's how it's pronounced. And he just recently released his first EP, amazing, called Above the Waves, which is available on all streaming platforms. Hell yes, plug, plug, plug. I am so proud of him because I have never seen him so happy and passionate about something, and I can't wait to see what else he creates. We love watching your videos together, and you made us feel so confident about attending our first EDC next year. Hope to see you there. Thanks so much, Chelsea Redmond. Amazing. Well, first off, shout out to you, Evan. You are our Listener of the Week. Congrats on the EP. That is amazing. So again, his name is Sporkzee, Sporkzy. If you guys are into trance, check out his EP called Above the Waves. And if you want to shout somebody out just like this, you can always email me. Put in Listener of the Week as your subject line in your email, and email raveculturecast@gmail.com with somebody you want to shout out. So before we jump into things, you guys, I actually am going to be collecting submissions for a new episode. I love doing these. I want to do them every now and then, so it's a break from some of the interviews. But this next one, I figured we could all use right now with everything going on in the world. It's going to be a very tense few months, especially leading up to the election and everything after that. So I thought, what better time to do this episode than now. So this episode is going to be everything about PLUR, which for some of you who aren't familiar means peace, love, unity, and respect. It's basically like a mantra or a lifestyle, like a way of thinking and a way of living that a lot of ravers in this community live by. So I want to know, what does PLUR mean to you? Like, how does it affect your life? What does that saying even mean to you? What examples can you explain that you've experienced PLUR in? Because I just feel like this world can feel like a dark place, and I know that music festivals and raves and the scene in general can bring out the best in people, and it's someplace that we can go to escape all of that, and you truly just meet the most genuine, kind, respectful people, and if people could carry that into their everyday lives, this world would be a much better place. So it's such a big part of rave culture. I want to do a full episode all about PLUR, so please email me. What does PLUR mean to you? And do you have any examples of how you've experienced it in your life? Again, email raveculturecast@gmail.com with your stories and messages. I cannot wait to spread all kinds of love and positivity with that episode. So I'm very excited about that. All right, without further ado, we're gonna get right into today's episode. Again, I have on Rena Harris. She also goes by Mama Melanin, and her handle is at Gaia XL. It's GAEAXNELLE, Gaia X Nell. So she's just an all-around wonderful human being. Like, I follow her on social media and her TikTok is hilarious. She just like kills the rave fashion game, always posting like really creative outfits and fun things like that. And she's representing for my plus size ladies. And I could just tell she has the best energy just from her posts. Like, usually I get a good feeling about people, and I just had that feeling about her. And I also had been following her page at Melanin Ravers for a while as well, and I actually saw them with their flag at Electric Zoo last year. So I just wanted to know her story. I wanted to know why she founded this page, because I know that it's been an incredible group, especially this year with everything going on with Black Lives Matter. Like, she created this incredible place for people to feel included and people to feel like being themselves and being represented in this scene, and I know that is a huge issue. And so we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about the lack of diversity in the EDM community and how we can fix that. We're going to talk about brands, and it's like a very honest, candid conversation about how brands can do better and be better. And on top of that, we're going to talk about rave fashion, all that fun stuff, creating content, and of course we're talking about hardstyle. If you know me, you know I don't listen to hardstyle really, and I don't talk about it that much, so I knew she was a stan, so I asked her all the questions about hardstyle and hard dance music and all those festivals and fun stuff. So if you guys are a hardstyle lover, today we're talking about you. So with all that being said, please go show her some love at Gaia XNL and at Melanin Ravers. Tell them Rave Culture Cast sent you, give her a follow and show her all the love in the world. And please join me in welcoming Rena to the podcast.
Hello.
Hi.
Girl, okay, so I have to ask you, because I feel like I always pronounce this incorrectly. How do you say your Instagram handle? How do you pronounce it?
It's Gaia.
Gaia. Okay, perfect. Definitely would have butchered that, so I'm glad you told me that.
Yeah, Gaia S now is kind of like, it's a play on words with my horoscope, which is Libra. My sign is Libra. So, you know, you have the scales. And when I was at Escape in 2018, I was given the rave name Gaia because I had like a motherly instinct. I love nature and all that stuff. So like Gaia is mother, like Mother Earth, basically. Right. And I was like, when I got the name, I was like, I want my Instagram to be catchy. Cause like I always have like different looks, and it always never be like one signature type of style. I always switch it up to fun and something sexy and something dark and, you know, like crazy. So like, well, I'm gonna go with Gaia X Nell, because Nell is like shortened for my middle name, which is Janelle. So I was just like, that's it. That's the name. Like, and I just ran with it.
That's awesome. Oh, I love that you have a rave name. That's amazing.
Yeah. Someone was like, what is your name? I was like, Rena. I was like, they were like, no, what is your name? I was like, Rena. And it's like, no, what is your rave name? I was like, I don't have one. So like I got one.
That's awesome.
His Instagram is the Raven Tigger. Like he's the one who dressed up like a Tigger at festivals.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so dope. See, I'm glad there was a story behind the name. That makes it even better. But okay, to jump into things today, obviously I want to start out with just getting to know you a little bit better. So I would love if you could just do an introduction to yourself, who you are, what you do, where you're from, and we'll start with that.
All right. Well, my name is Rena. I go by Gaia in the rave scene. Or if you're known of Melanin Ravers, I am called Mama Melanin. I am located in St. Petersburg, Florida, like south of Tampa. I am a barista for Starbucks. So, I am also called the Bayrista.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so what I do, like, I love going to festivals, obviously, and I got into raving thanks to my ex-boyfriend. He kind of was showing me, like, EDC, like, from his Snapchats. I'm like, whatever that is, I want to go. And, like, we ended up breaking up, and it's like, I'm still going to go. Like, I didn't even know there was other festivals until, after EDC in 2017. I was like, there's more, not just one, there's more. Like, OMG, I got to go. Like, whoa. I gotta go. So I ended up doing that. I ended up meeting up with a couple friends out there on a club crawl, which was really, really fun. And the next year we linked up together again, went to EDC 2018. And one of my good friends, Anna, she and I was in the car to go to EDC. And it was the last day. And she's like, you need to start this page. And I'm like, what page? And she's like, show like Black Ravers. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I didn't think nothing of it. I'm just like, what do you mean? And she's like, yeah, like she was telling me how there's like this news article, like a news like story clip or whatever about how like a Black raver went up to news reporter, be like, hey, no, you need to show us. We're out here too,
Yes.
I didn't think, like, I honestly didn't really think too much about it. And like, I was starting like going through some self-doubt. And it's like, nobody really even follows me. And also like, I didn't think nobody will follow Melanin Ravers as is. I'm just like, whatever. Like, I'm not going to make it. And it took for me to be in the security line at EDC. It was me and another girl. She was a Black raver. Her name is Destiny. And which is ironic. But, and like me and her, we were talking, and I just happened to look around, and like within like first glance, all you see was as Black ravers was just me and her. And I was like, I turned to her like, hi, my name is Rena, and I got a page called Melanin Ravers, and I didn't even have the page up and running this yet. I was just like,
wow,
I'm just announcing it. And I honestly was sick as a dog. Like, I didn't have a voice. I had a little notepad on my phone and just like going around to other ravers that I found, like, hey, can you read this?
Yeah.
And that's like basically my little background story,
Wow. Oh my God. No, we have so much to unpack here because I have so many questions.
I'm ready.
Of course, definitely like about, like you and what you do and your content, of course. And then I definitely want to talk about Melanin Ravers, but that is incredible that that's how that actually happened. I love that you started promoting it before you had it. That's amazing. But you fulfilled a need. Like, clearly there was a need. And I remember, I'm pretty sure it was at Electric Zoo last year. I had known about your page, and I think there was a Melanin Ravers flag, because I remember seeing the group like walking around the festival at it, and I was like, oh my God, I know those guys. But it really is an incredible community. And I mean, let's just hop right into that. I'll go right into my questions about that. Okay. So can you talk a little bit about the group? Like, what made you really want to start it, and what has the response been like to starting Melanin Ravers?
I initially started it as like something to do like on my little off time, because at the time I had so much going on. So I was like, I wasn't sure like how Melanin Ravers would even turn out. So I was just like, I'm gonna give it my best shot. Let's see what happens. And a couple of days later, because at one point I had like 200 followers in one day, and I ended up asking some people like, hey, can you help me out? And I was like, hey, this is my goal. This is the reason why. It's not for me because I have my own page, but I wanted to continue to give a platform for other Black ravers, not just, for myself, because like I already have my own page. This is for you guys. I want to give everyone else a safe place and have representation, because honestly, I wasn't too sure if, like I said, I wasn't too sure if it was even going to work out, because I'm just like, ain't nobody gonna follow Melanin Ravers, like whatever, like, and on top of that too, it was seeing other festival pages that you don't see any Black ravers. Like, there was like mostly white, and like there's a type, and I was like, this is not the at the time, I'm like, this is not really the niche for it. Like, I'm just like, I don't know. Like, let's see what happens. And next thing you know, it was just the outpour. Like, oh my God, we got a page for us. Oh my God. It's just like that. Thank you for creating this space for us. And like, oh my God, this is so amazing because, you know, there's other ones that look like me. I'm not alone. I can feel safe going out and like, oh wow, we actually can go to these things. It's like those concepts, and it's like that what motivates me to keep Melanin Ravers going, because there was times where I felt so stressed and overwhelmed, and I was like, I just can't do it. And then like I put a big girl panties on, and it was like, okay, I got to continue to give that platform to them because it's such needed. Like I didn't really think it was like that huge of a deal until like I got that, like the feedback from it. And I'm just like, holy crap. Like, okay, all right, we're going. Keep going. So that's kind of like that. Yeah.
That's so awesome. And do you have a Facebook group as well? Or are you just on Instagram?
No, we're basically on a lot of platforms. We're mostly focused on Instagram as far as posting. And then we also have a Facebook group where Melanin Ravers can come together, meet up, talk about discussions, things that matter to them and matter to us within our own community, and uplift each other. Like if they need something and meet up with others, like there's people who like, I'm going to this festival, like let's meet up, and or is there a Melanin Ravers meetup? Because I want to go, and like, or you know, they always want to find someone they could rave with and extend their rave group.
That's awesome. I feel like a big theme for this year, like obviously because we don't have events right now too, is like community and just stressing, building community and like being there for each other and having that space to still like talk about the things that we all love and have in common, even though we can't meet up with each other. So I feel like you are 100% fulfilling a need for people and creating a safe space for everybody to just like get together and have these conversations and like find your people. And I think it's absolutely amazing that you guys did that. Do you have any favorite stories or memories from people you've met through your page?
Oh, I have so many. I truly did just meeting up with anyone who noticed me in the crowd or they come to the meetups that we hold. I think the one that stood out the most for me was when basically Melanin Raver helped me out, and it was like the best memory because I was so stressed. It was for Ultra 2019, and it was like a whole crap storm that was happening, and she was so like excited to meet me. And I was like, hey, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to go to Ultra. There's so much happening right now. And she's like, no, you come in and stay with me and we're gonna go to Ultra. Don't worry about it. And like she and her friend, my friend, was like, they basically made me feel so welcome, so loved. And I'm just like, this is what PLUR is all about right here. Like you come, you stretch your neck out for another. And that one really like touched me, and that keeps me like dear to my heart because like she didn't have to. Like most ravers just like, yeah, whatever, like see you next time. And like she actually like, no, like you come and stay with me and like you don't have to worry about it. Like let's rave together. I want to meet you. And my really good memories is this meeting other Melanin Ravers. Like the biggest meetup that we had, I basically cried, and it was at EDC Orlando 2019, and I was kind of like 2 minutes late to my meetup, and it was like, and I had like, there was like a crowd of Black ravers just sitting by the Ferris wheel, and I'm just like walking up, and I noticed one, I was like, so I guess you guys are waiting for me, and it was like, oh my God, it's Mama Melanin, and it's like, and it ended up being like 40 people showing up all together. And that's the biggest meetup. And just to have that connection, and it solidified everything that Melanin Ray has been working hard for, is just the constant meetups and like the vibes and like having that safe place where you feel like, you know, you're safe to rave and you don't feel like you're going to be targeted, or you could feel like you don't feel uncomfortable. Like, no, like we got you. Sure. That's basically like at the end of the day, we got you. Like I carry Melanin Ravers on my back all the time. Like
that's amazing.
I had to lose sleep. I lost sleep so much when I first started Melanin Ravers because I was literally up at wee hours in the night going to festivals, pages like EDC, EZoo, Lost Lands, whatever festival that I could find. I was going through their follower list. And if I saw a Black raver, I would follow. So in the wee hours of the night, that was me. Like, was like, hey, can I post you? Like, hey, can I post you? And then they say, no, here we are.
Yeah, guys, that's how you do it. Anybody listening, like there's a huge aspect, not to get into it, but like there's a huge aspect of social media too in general that's like about being proactive. I think a lot of people feel unheard or unseen on social media, but a lot of it is like it can't be passive because you will get buried in everything. So it's incredible that you like went out there and you just found people who would be a great fit. So that's awesome. Yeah. I love that you did that. And I have to touch on what you said too, because with Ultra, I feel like this is the only community where that situation happens where like you just feel comfortable. Cause even if you know them a little bit, they're still a stranger, but you're just like, we all want the same thing. We all want to go away, have a great time, enjoy the festival together. And it's like not even a question, like, sure, I'll stay with you.
Yeah. It's just like, thank you for like sticking your neck out for me. Like, and
yeah,
you could like, people could be like, oh, you know, go somewhere else or like go back home, see you next time. But like, I feel like it's important, especially in the rave community, like you have to look out for each other. Like even outside of the EDM community, like you still got to look out for each other. Like point blank period. Like there's for people that's going to be in need and like they, you know, can't fend for themselves. Like, so you got to come out and like, you know, stand up and be there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, so I do want to ask you too, because I feel like now is an interesting time to have this conversation because it's been a few months since June with the murder of George Floyd. And when we saw, obviously not just in the EDM community, but brands across the board, different pages saying like, okay, like we haven't been embracing diversity. Like we're going to change that and we're going to make a difference, whether it's like in our workforce, representation on our feed and things like that. And I feel like it's been a couple months now. So I've personally been quietly watching to see if people have actually like stayed true to their word and are actually showing like a diverse range of people in this community. But I want to just ask you what your experience has been like the past few months and how you feel like the EDM community has responded to everything that's been going on.
It is a very touchy subject. Obviously, for both sides, it kind of angers one or the other. As far as the rave community, I've noticed that some people are showing their true colors. I'm not even gonna lie. They're showing their true colors and showing that they kind of just don't care for equality. They don't care about what's happening within the Black community and what's been going on for years and years and years. This is nothing new. This is not something that, you know, just pop out of nowhere. Like, okay, yeah, you know, this is what's happening. But like, you know, we've been thinking about it for such a very long time. And we're just done talking about it. Like, we're just like, we need to see some change. We need to see action. And yes, there's a lot of brands that have been called out for not showing representation, or like they kind of, you know, do something that's, you know, shut us up and then keep going back to what sells for them. And I just feel like there still need work to be done within the EDM community, especially with rave fashion brands. There are some that actually, I noticed that actually did change. There's some that I personally feel like they started to, but then they like, okay, this is really doing, it fell off or it wasn't like getting them the results they wish they had. And like, so I've noticed that like there was some that was working with a lot of Black creators and then they kind of like fell back and it's like, yeah, you know, like, and then like they got called out again and again and again and again. It's just like, if you're going to show that you are for diversity, you're here for equality, you're here for, that's for representation for all genders, shapes, sizes, and color and race, you know, you got to stand by that. Just don't put a Band-Aid on it. Like, do the work. And I feel like a lot of them are starting to get there. They kind of trying to understand, like, okay, yeah, we're not doing what we said we're going to do. Let's like change it up. Let's put it in full speed. And there's some that's at a standstill. And it's like, okay, so are you really, it makes me as a content creator, make me think like, are you actually here for like, you know, diversity or are you just looking to sell something? Like, and at this point, I kind of just start working with brands that actually go with my idea, like that represents me and like they're like, our ideas match. Like, I'm here to show, like, I'm doing it for the curvy girls. I'm doing it for the dark skin girls. I'm doing it for like my whole Black community. And like, if you don't see it how I see it, I don't want to work with you. I don't want to put my money towards you or my time and my energy because I'd rather show support to a a Black-owned brand or a brand that is a true ally. Like Rena Couture, like I can't say
she's amazing.
Like she's doing hard for equality, and that's a brand I will forever cherish. There's a lot of them that's like that, and like Rena is the one I know that would go in all day.
She's amazing.
Day. And like she's like, no, we're not having that. She's not one of those people one of those brands that's like, oh, I'm just posting just to be like, I'm here.
Get my quota and
I'm here, but I'm not really, I don't really care. Like, I'm just here to like
for sure,
not be like on your bad side. I don't want to be on the Black community bad side, but it's just like, a lot of them are like, because they're not really true to their word. It's just like,
for sure.
So I prefer to rep brands that's either within the Black community or who actually truly support the Black community.
For sure. No, and I wanted to ask you that too, because I know I spoke to one of my friends who said that around June, she started to get contacted a lot more to represent different brands, and some of them fell off. And she brought up that question to me. She was like, I have to question them and be like, are you actually being genuine? Do you really want to work with me as a creator? Or are you only aware of like a few Black women in this community, and that's why you're touching base with me? And I said something similar to what you said. And I was like, well, if they know your content, like, did they name a piece of content you did? Do they know you? Do they know what you're about? Like, if they're clearly showing they like you for you and they want to work with you, I think that's great. But if it's kind of like a throwaway, it feels like it's a copy and pasted, statement to you, and they just want to send you something, then you kind of have to go with your gut feeling. But that's what I wanted to ask you, because I did notice that. I noticed a few rave brands were proactive. Some of them put posts out there being like, hey, tag your favorite Black creators. Let us know who's out there so we know who to work with. So that gives me more people to follow. But I was curious about that, like how you felt, if you felt like brands were being genuine, and just like how to suss that out,
Yeah, I'm still like on the fence. I'm one of those who likes to give chances, and I've been hoping and praying that a lot of what's going on, like not just with the Black Lives Matter, is just like with the Black community and stuff, like especially when a lot of our Black ravers are shopping at these brands who don't really care about us, because it's a brand that, they know oh so well. And they like, sometimes they are hoping to be featured. They're hoping to have a collab. They're hoping to be a model for them, like official model. They're doing all of this work and spending all of their money. And like, that's for them to make a sale off of you. Like, is this are you actually here for my skin color, or are you just here for a sale? Like, just like, be honest with me so I can tell you no.
Yeah. Got it. No, I feel you. And I appreciate you being honest and like sharing all of your feelings about that. Cause I know it's been an extremely, extremely tough year, but I do hope that people are true to their word. And I do hope that there is change and we do see a difference. I'm watching quietly. So everybody put your money like where your mouth is, and be smart, right? Like definitely be active, be smart, put your like money towards companies like Rena Couture or people who actually, are genuine in their intentions. I think that's a huge thing. But speaking of the raving community and raving fashion, for you, like what would you like to see more of in the rave and festival fashion scene?
Obviously more representation. I want to see more. I'm not trying to be, I don't know.
No, you're good. You're good.
Like, I really like, for me personally, I prefer to see more curvy girls, more brands working with. They're kind of getting there. But I wish. I'm sorry, but it's not that hard to make plus size. I'm just gonna say it. It's not that hard. It's just a little bit extra fabric.
Right.
And like something like, obviously something that caters more to plus size girls, especially like girls who are, even if they're like very thin, they could be very like a thin waist, and they can be really thick and curvy. Like I just want some more stuff that actually support, especially for me, because I'm a bit titty girl. I need some support because I'm jumping around. I don't want to be like knocking somebody out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, like,
yes.
I'd rather that, and like stuff that's comfortable, a little bit more like, being comfortable is like my main thing. Like if I have to go in like a plain bodysuit, that's so be it. It's like, if a 2-piece ain't gonna fit me all that well, I'm not gonna wear it.
Right.
So like, I just need that support. Like, I don't need some straps sticking in my arms and my back rolls. And like, I just want to have something that's going to be comfortable for me, because we're not like, there's not ravers that's sitting in the crowd, like sitting in the crowd and not jumping. Right. Like, there's ravers dancing around and jumping around. Like, we just want some, like, I just want the representation, show some more, you know, not just Black ravers, but there's some beautiful like Latinos and Indian and like Native American. Like, there's so many beautiful people of color like they can work with. Sure. And honestly, to be perfectly honest, I want to see more men rave wear. Like,
I was just thinking that too. Yeah.
Like, why not? Like, what? Like, if you can make some bottoms for a girl, like make some matching bottoms for a guy. Like,
right, right.
I don't know how to sell or how to make clothes or anything like that. So I don't not going to automatically assume like it's not hard. Like, but I would love like to be able to have like a Rave boo and we match. Like,
yeah,
and, like,
that's so true.
We're more than just like basketball shorts and.
For sure. No, it is. It's true. And I was going to ask you too, I didn't know if you had any interest in this at all, but yeah, have you ever thought about like doing your own clothing or anything like that?
I thought about it so many times, even before I got into the rave scene, like making clothes, mainly because I didn't have anything that fit me, like the way that I wanted to fit. And, or I wanted to learn how to at least like make alterations to stuff that I already bought. But I don't know how to sell, but I would love to like at least work with companies to make a collaboration with them, maybe. Yeah. But like actually making clothes, I have so much on my hands that it would be impossible to start a rave brand. So I'm gonna stick with Melanin and Ravers for now.
A collaboration though, we're manifesting that. That's put into the universe. So that would be really, really fucking awesome.
Like, that would be so dope.
I would love that. So, okay. So let's talk rave fashion, because you literally kill it in the game. How would you describe your style?
I'm very comfortable being sexy. So I like the cleavage. I like showing the little rave booty. Like, I'm very like open with a lot of different styles. But most of all, it's comfort. If I have to risk a boot coming out just to look cute, maybe I'll just like pair it up with something else. Yeah. Like a fishnet top or something. I'm very versatile. Like sometimes I want to go for a dark and sexy look. And then sometimes I want to be goofy and like very bright and vibrant. So like I always it's hard to like put a pin on what my stylist actually is, because it's always changing. So like, it just depends on my mood, like what I want to wear. So I do try to, like, for festivals, I kind of plan like a theme, at least, like what I want to do. And I kind of work around that. If I'm doing something last minute, I kind of just go kind of basic, but like kind of flashy, and I try to dress it up in some type of way. And like, I just go from there.
Awesome. Do you have any favorite, like, where do you find festival fashion inspiration? Do you have favorite pages you follow, or like websites, anything, handles you like?
Honestly, oh my God. Give me PLUR. I love her to death. Give me PLUR. Yeah. I love her fashion. Like, even if it's something simple, the way that she dresses it up, really like chef kisses. I love her to death. Corey Isles, I believe is her name. Corey, I love her.
She's style. Ridiculous.
Like, like, you know, I'm like looking at her. Let's see.
She's ridiculous. When I met her in person, like, it was at Imagine Music Festival, and I had just become familiar with her. And when I shit you not, like, she shows up this day, she was kind of like an underwater theme. She had this long wavy wig, this crown. I was like, Jesus, because you see it on Instagram and you're like, wow, that looks intricate. But when you see people in their rave outfits in person, you're just like, holy shit, she just goes to the nines. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Corey, give me PLUR. I was actually like Candy Diva. Like, I love her. She kind of have a theme, like a Rasta theme. I like how she dresses stuff up there. I believe she changed her name, but Lena, Lena. Like, I love her vibe. I love her. Like, it's so many people, because like I kind of like take little pieces of what they kind of put together and like put my own twist to it. Because obviously, like, our styles are not going to be different, but they do inspire me a lot, especially to step out of my comfort zone a little bit. Like, with certain outfits, and like, I'm really self-conscious about my stomach, but now I don't really care. Like, if you see my stretch marks, you see my stretch marks. Oh well, it's whatever. I feel good. I feel cute. I'm gonna wear it. But yeah, like they kind of give me that confidence, and like there's so many. There's so many, especially my girl Chubby Wubby Maria. She
yes.
I love her because she is a chubby girl. She's my little thickie.
She's amazing.
I call her my little thickie. She's sweetheart, and like her style too. Like that kind of makes me want a little bit more like, okay, I can wear this. And then my good sis, Nia Smiles. Yeah, like me and her actually met at EDC Orlando. We both have the same body type. So like seeing what she puts together makes, okay, I feel like I can pull that out too. Like, you know, so I take inspiration from everyone, no matter who they are. Like if I see what they look like, I'm like, you know what? I want to try something similar to this. Like, and like see what I can pull. Yeah.
Do you ever pull too? Because I know I wanted to ask you about this. Sometimes people's obviously like musical tastes or interests influence how they dress too. And I think you're a big hardstyle fan, right?
I love hardstyle. Oh my God. Yes.
Talk about it, please. This is the area people know I'm not as educated in. I try to dabble, but how did you get into hardstyle? Who are some of your favorite artists?
It was actually funny because when I went to my first festival, because I'm so used to listening to like Calvin Harris and David Guetta, like going to the club and hearing like those type of mixes. So when I went to EDC, like, cause that's like my first ever show, festival, all that. And I wasn't too familiar with all the different styles of subgenres of EDM. So like when I went, I think it was, I want to say it could have been Wasteland. It could have been Bass Pod. Yeah. Thank you. Bass Pod. And I don't know which one it was. And I was hearing that. It's like, no. Like, I'm like, no, thank you. I don't think I can do this. So then it kind of like, it took me a while to kind of get to the motions of different subgenres. Honestly, I think it was because somebody recommended the song, like a song to me. I can't even remember. It was a hardstyle song. I'm like, I like this. Like, I really like this. And then I remember PLUR did like something on her story about how she's decided for the Wasteland stage at EDC. And she was like showing me like In Your Fish and Lady Faith. I'm like, okay. So I started slowly getting into like, I was into house and like big room and like, I got into dubstep, and then like hardstyle was kind of like the last one because like trance was kind of like, they hit a little different, like techno kind of like was like, yes. So when I eventually got into hardstyle, I'm just like, this is my home. This is my home. This is my home. This is where I belong. And so
that's like, awesome.
So and it was kind of funny because I didn't go to any of the hardstyle stages until 2019. And I was like, when EDC was super duper cold, it was so windy, and Wasteland is kind of sheltered, so like you're not as cold. So I'm like, people, it's crowded in here. Let's go. And I'll end up going to see Radical Redemption, and I was like, I'm having the time of my life here. Like, oh my God, the bass. I don't know what it is about hardstyle bass, but it's like so intense, so crazy. Yeah. And then I was just having such a fun time. I'm like, this is cool. This is great. And then I remember Wasteland was being promoted for California. I was like, I'm going to go. Right. I'm going to listen to nothing but hardstyle, and I'm just going to have the time of my life. And like, I just been like adding like so much hardstyle music to my playlist. It's kind of sad because it scares people when they get in my car because that's the first thing that's playing. Yeah.
It's definitely an acquired taste, but I feel like it depends. I mean, there's obviously like within hard dance, there's so many different subgenres, but same thing. I think if you kind of like get in the gateway and, you know, I listen to like Darren Styles a little bit because I feel like he's like an easy way in, but it's also, to like your point, it also kind of is a different experience when you're actually seeing it live, because when you walk by Wastelands, the pure like bass and like throbbing energy coming out of it, you're like, oh my God, it is. Yeah. It's definitely a lot in your face. But was Wasteland? I remember seeing that event. Is that like a 2-day festival or that was a 1-day?
It's technically a rave when you go onto Insomniac website or whatever event page they have for you to buy tickets. They consider it a rave because it's at a nightclub for 2 days. So it's like basically like a night out at a EDM event. So it's like, it ended like at 12 or so. Like it was like so much music. It was so crazy. But yeah, it's more classified. I think they classify it more of a rave versus the actual festival. But it was 2 days. It was a Friday and a Saturday, or Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember. It was so long ago. But it was more so like a rave.
Just because I could picture, because it's funny, like even, I mean, EDC is just such a big festival, but you do have your individual groups, and it is funny, like if somebody is like is really big into hard dance or hard style, I feel like that whole like aesthetic in itself is so cool and like badass, and like if you were going to go to DEF CON or something like that, or some like a festival that is like strictly, or Lost Lands, like heavy bass music, I feel like that whole theme you could dress up as in itself versus going to like EDC, which is going to be more like PLUR and neon and all that. Yeah.
I tell people all the time, especially my new rave babies that I take with me sometimes. I'm like, if there is a hard dance artist, you coming with me or you gonna get lost, because I'm going. Because I'm like, that's kind of like one of my biggest regrets, and that's the reason why I went to Wasteland, because I only saw Radical Redemption at the Wasteland stage. I'm just like, I kind of wish I went back, but I was catering to other people and their styles, and like I didn't want to leave them alone. So I was like, okay, let's enjoy the night. It's whatever. Let's go. But like after looking back after the festival, looking back, I'm like, dang, I wish I went to more of the Wasteland, like listen to more hard dance. So like going to Wasteland and meeting up with more hardstyle lovers like myself, and they kind of like educate me on the different like subgenres of hard dance, and like what's like Frenchcore and raw style and all this stuff. And it was such an amazing experience, like to not have to worry about like, oh, I don't think this person gonna like this music, because I was surrounded by a whole bunch of like hardstyle lovers. So it was really, really great.
That's awesome. I mean, it's just like such a cool, I don't know, just like a cool genre. I feel like it is something that people, maybe it's not the first introduction into EDM, like you kind of find your way into it, but the fans are so loyal and they just love it so much. So I don't know. I agree with you. I feel you on this spending more time there. I used to say to myself, I tried 2 years in 2018 and 2019. I was like, I'm going to make it a point to go to Wasteland and experience every single stage. And I missed it time and time again. And then we didn't have EDC this year. So I'm going to make it a point to finally see.
Yeah, you should come to Wasteland. Let's go to Wasteland.
I know. Well, it was like, because I'm not as versed, but isn't like Lil Texas, he's a big hardstyle artist, like hard dance artist. I want to see him.
He's bananas. He actually was at Wasteland. He wasn't performing, but he ended up going because like it was a hardstyle like event. And then actually I ended up becoming friends with one of them. I think he's based in California, and we became kind of Twitter buddies. And so like I like if he's catching the set, I try to catch it. It's very hard because there's not so many hard dance live streams. They mostly are coming out of the overseas. They're like BaseCon have them very randomly, but you can catch them. Like DEF CON 1 had one, Mystery Land had one, Q Dance. There's so many different ones, and they constantly having them like constantly. So it's kind of like it's very hard to like stay on top of like the hard dance live streams. But yeah, like it was actually a fun time. Like there were so many of like artists there, and they had like meet and greets, and it was really cool. So it was like more like an intimate moment because it wasn't so big. It was at I can't remember where it was, but it was not a big venue. So like they had that moment where they can like the artists can like come out and come and do like a meet and greet. So it was like really, really cool. You don't really get that much at a festival because there's so many people, it's so crowded.
Right.
And like they like some people are just out of their minds, like to be perfectly honest. Like some people are just like it's just too much. Like so like some of them don't really have that much of a meetup that I've noticed. So yeah. It was really cool.
Maybe we'll see a resurgence, or not a resurgence, but I know like hard dance is a lot bigger like in Europe and things like that. But we're seeing dubstep grow, and we're seeing like, Excision drop his record label Subsidia with over 100 songs of like all types of bass music. So I feel like bass music is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger in the United States. So who knows? I mean, maybe hardstyle will be behind it, but okay. Last few questions for you I wanted to ask too, because I wanted to talk about content with you, of course, because you're on TikTok, you're on Instagram, and I know a lot of people have been like asking questions about like, right now all we can do is do at-home photo shoots or create TikToks or like whatever we're going to do to celebrate the community and our interests. So how do you approach creating your content for your different pages?
I just typically, I do it at random. My thing is I don't like to plan my content. If that makes any sense. Like I plan what I'm wearing for like, or like that day or that moment. Cause sometimes I just get like an instant inspiration and like, oh, I got to do this right now. Or like, especially when I have time or when like, you know, there's good sunlight, it always depends on what's going on. So like, honestly, I just pick something random and I just do it. And I don't understand why, to be perfectly honest, like why people like my TikToks, because it's like, no, like
you have so much fun with them though.
I do. Like I try to have so much fun with them, and I don't like having my content feel forced and feel unnatural. Like that's like when I make my TikToks, I'm doing it in the moment. I'm not doing it as a plan something, because then I'm not unhappy. I'm going to be unhappy with what I create. So like I always try to do it at the spur of the moment, when I have time, when I get that inspiration, and like I just try to have fun with it. I do like random ones, especially like my TikToks that I did today. Like it was just like, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. Like that was in the back of my head. And like so like it's always very random. And so like I always try to express my actual self in my content. So like when you actually meet me in person, like you understand like this is she's not faking it. This is who she is. She's the hot mess. In person as well.
Definitely not, but
I'm a hot mess. You gotta be prepared. So like this is your preparation. My content, my pages.
No, but see, this is exactly why I love doing this, because like I'm not careful, but I like to pick certain people for doing this because I can just get a vibe off of them just throughout their content. And like, I'm always pleasantly surprised, and everyone seems to be exactly who they are as they portray online. So that's always a pleasant surprise. But I also wanted to point out, I think you posted this week, were you doing a photo shoot with Euphoric Rave wear?
Yeah,
I saw your post. Yeah. How'd that go?
It was so amazing. Because I came across their page right when they first started, and I was like, oh my God, they're like 20 minutes away from me. Like, I want to work with them so bad. And I kind of like had it on my little list of people I want to work with. And I kind of started manifesting with brands that kind of like gave me that, not this yet. We're not looking for anybody this yet, or, you know, like apply and we'll get back to you type of thing. And it was like, I'm manifesting that I'm going to work with like either a bigger brand or in a smaller brand, and this brand and that brand. So they were one of mine. And I messaged them one, I want to say like a month ago, and like, hey, you guys are like right around the corner from me. Can I place an order and pick it up from you guys? If that's okay, that's cool. Like I wear a mask if I have to. Like plus I want to meet you guys. Like I want to see the face behind, since you guys are so close. And she's like, yeah, one of them was like, yeah, let's meet up. I'll go ahead and get the outfit and we'll like meet up. And we did, and we instantly clicked. And then she messaged me like a couple of days later. She's like, hey, you want to be a part of this photo shoot? I was like, me? She was like, yes, you know, it's like, okay.
Nice.
It was really such a beautiful experience. I always feel like kind of like anxious when I do photo shoots with other people versus doing it at home in my own comfort zone. And I'm always like, is this like, how should I pose? Like, I'm like, so they made me feel so comfortable. It was so much fun. It was like, there's us girls just hanging out, and there's this beautiful photographer there. So I really enjoyed that photo shoot. It was really, really cool.
That's so awesome. I was going to ask you that too. Yeah. Cause I feel like, I don't know, within this community, right? Like we're just going along our day. We're making content we enjoy. We're posting things like that we have interest in. And then these opportunities come up, and like, I'm the same as you. I feel like I would be so nervous and anxious. So like, I don't know, like what goes into the prep for that? I mean, how can you prepare for a photo shoot like that? Yeah.
Right. It's, I feel like it's easy to like try to talk to them before like this. Like any type of person I work with, I at least want to get to like talk to them, get to know them a little bit better, kind of get a vibe from them. Because if I feel like I'm going to be uncomfortable, I would just be like, I'm good, we're good, no thank you. And like so like that's where planning comes into play. Like when it comes to photo shoots like this, like it's not all like that great to like instantly do something with somebody and you don't know who they are, you don't know like how they are as a person, or how would they treat you, or how like their business ethic is, like, you know, like is that space that you're gonna enter, would that be safe, and would that be welcoming, and will it be fun, would it be cool, like are you gonna be comfortable being yourself there? Like so like I always say, like, if you could, like, reach out to them, just, like, get to know them, get to see, like, their content, especially their content. Get to know, like, talk to them if you could. They, like, close, like, meet up in a public place and, like, get a vibe from them and then work with them. So, like, that's what my only biggest, like, advice is to, like, just contact them, get to know them a little bit, even if it's just, like, their name and you're talking for, like, a good 10 minutes, because you want to know who you're working with, you know?
Right. Yeah. And I think that will resonate too on camera if you feel like comfortable with the whole environment. That makes sense. All right. Before I let you go, I wanted to ask two things. One, what are you the most excited about right now? Like, what gets you out of bed in the morning?
Well, food. No, I was kidding. I guess, like, it gets, like, especially being such a hard, not just 2020, but 2019 has been such a hard time for me, especially as a person who deals with depression and anxiety. So, like, any moment that I open my eyes is a blessing. Like, because there's times where, you know, it gets dark, it gets really heavy. And, like, that's when I take my steps back from social media and just, like, I got to regroup. And, like, just to have that, just to know, like, I have another day to fight to be okay and fight to have a good day. That's what kind of, like, gets me up, and, like, this, like, usually blasting some hardstyle usually gets me going, like, get some music, like, blasting up in there, like, either, like, just a little bit, or while I'm in the shower, or just getting ready, or while I'm in the car, or something that makes me happy. Like, try to keep around me, because, you know, who wants bad vibes? Nobody wants that. So, like, I try to, like just knowing that I get to wake up and try again, especially if I had, like, a bad day. I'm like, this is my moment to try again. Like, I'm going to attempt to see the positive things. Sometimes it is hard, especially for a person like me. It's hard to always see the good in things, especially when I've been through so much stuff in my lifetime, and, like, I've been around for almost 30 years. But
same.
It's like I've been through so much that, you know, like, now most things kind of, like, roll off your back, and, like, okay, I'm not going to dwell on this. I'm going to keep going forward. And so, like, I suggest to anybody who's listening and watching this, like, if you're having a bad day, just remember tomorrow's a new day. And that's your chance to do something good, even if it's for yourself or someone else, a complete stranger, because karma do come back. So, like, I try to do these little good things in the world, and there's like, fight to be okay. I know it's hard to, like, like, it's kind of, I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's like some people don't want to hear that. Like, it's
right.
It's like, and also I always want to say it's okay to not be okay. Like, but you will be okay. Like, just keep going. Just keep going, and just keep fighting. Like, keep going, keep fighting, and eventually you'll get there. Because I had my little setbacks, and that's the only thing that keeps me up and going. Like, okay, you know, it will be a new day, and then I'll end up talking to a raver about God knows what, and then, like, we share or laugh, or I see a meme, and then I'm just laughing, and my day is good. Like, do whatever you need to do to be okay, and then remember, there's going to be a new day, so you can start all over. You got to start over every day. That's how that matters. Like, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
I love that. No. Literally the perfect way to end. I mean, I completely agree with you. And that, like, even just given this year, if it's taught me anything, it's that, like, how quickly your mood can change from day to day. And it really is unreal. And I say the same thing you do. I'm like, tomorrow I will wake up and you get to try it all over again, 100%, because you just don't know. And you don't know what's going to be thrown at you during the day that can, you know, steer you off course. But as long as you just do what you need to do to get through the day, go easy on yourself on the days when you, like, just feel like you can't get through it, because you might wake up tomorrow out of nowhere feeling like the most energized you've ever felt, and you can get after it the next day. So it's been a bizarre time. Yeah. But I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, you gotta cry it out, scream it out, throw something. I mean, do it safely. Don't aim it at nobody. Please don't. Just, like, find healthy ways to express your anger. Like, even with me, I'm still trying to find my ways of doing it. But if you gotta throw your own little rave to feel better, like, go ahead and do whatever you need to do to be better. Like, and be okay. Like, trust me, it's gonna be hard. It's always gonna be hard, but, like, eventually it'll get better. Eventually get better.
Music definitely helps too. I agree with you on that. I'm just pulling up questions here. So Well, actually, I wanted to ask you really quickly. I know like it's very much up in the air with next year and stuff like that, but did you have tickets to any events next year that you're hoping to attend?
I still have my ticket for EDC Las Vegas. I never, at the time, I was like, I know it's gonna be hard to kind of get one. So like, as much as I could have used that money, I was just like, I'm still gonna go. Like whenever they're gonna have it, I'm going to go. Like no matter what. Because EDC is my first festival, so I consider that festival to be home. And it's like I want to go back home. Like I want to go back and like experience like what EDC is what it's all about. And get back to where I started from, like my little rave journey. And that's kind of like my only festival that I actually still have like tickets for it. But I really hope and praying that I can go to like Wasteland. I was going to go to, what is the Daylight? It's like the new festival that's happening, but they got sold out.
Oh, yeah.
I got on the waiting list. Yeah. I really hoping by next summer I can go to DEF CON 1. That's like that's my bucket list. That's my bucket list. Is to go to DEF CON 1.
We'll see. I don't know. I mean, I'm feeling international festivals for 2021. So
that's for sure. Like if I can just fly out, I would just go to an international festival. The flights are going to be disgustingly expensive, but I rather because they're cheaper overseas versus here in America. So if I can just fly out, if they let us fly out, I would just go to festivals overseas if I have to. Like even if it's just one, it's just like I'm gonna go. I want to go because their culture is different from ours. Like they're kind of like low key, especially like the fashion is very low key. We're up there like basically half naked. So it's like
Yep.
Yeah, the vibes, from what I see, the vibes are basically still the same, but like, is this the culture? Is this a little different?
No, I agree with you. I think that's the game plan across the board. And like a festival like that too would probably like fulfill your need because that's like a mecca of all festivals. But thank you so much for doing this today. Before I let you go, plug all your stuff. Where can everybody connect with you?
All right. First and foremost, please follow Melanin Ravers on Instagram. That's a given, please. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok under Gaia Snell, GAEA, X like X-ray, NELLE. Or you can follow me on Twitter where you can see all the hot mess that I am at Monster is Lover. That's basically where you can find me on all this little social media platforms.
Awesome. Well, thank you seriously so much for doing this. Everybody else listening, hang tight. I will be back in just a second with EDM news.
Alrighty, you guys, I am back to wrap up this episode. First off, huge thank you to Rena. She was amazing. I loved her energy. I was like pumped that whole time. Her story is amazing, and I think she just, even how we ended that conversation, like radiates positivity and growth and just is herself. She's authentic, she's genuine, she's the person you see online as she is like when you meet her, and I think her message is incredible. So I hope that today's episode lifted your spirits, and I hope you guys really enjoyed that. Please go give her a follow, show her some love on all her pages, her TikTok, everything. I think she's amazing, and I can't wait to meet her in person one day. So we also continue the conversation, you guys. I do a 10-question lightning round with every single guest that comes on. It's not in the podcast. You have to go to our YouTube channel, Raveculturecast Clips, to see the bonus clips, and that will be out the day after the podcast. So go check that out. She and I had continued the conversation. It was really fun doing those lightning round questions with her. So get pumped for that. Okay, I'm gonna jump into EDM news here, you guys, and then I have some really good song of the week recommendations, so you want to stick around for that. But I do want to start off on a bit of a heavier note because this was some news that sort of like rocked the entire dubstep and EDM community. And that was the news of the passing of Cookie Monster. His name is Tony Cook. He is a dubstep pioneer legend who passed away, unfortunately, on October 2nd at the age of 31 years old. When I read this, like, I wasn't as familiar of his music. I knew the name though, and then I saw all of these artists obviously tweeting out their condolences and their shared memories of him and everything like that. And I know all of his fans were like absolutely heartbroken. Honestly, 2020, truly the absolute worst. Like, you can't even explain some of these tragedies that happened. So my heart personally goes out to him, his family, his friends, his fans, anyone who has been affected by this tragedy. The EDM community lost a good one, and there's just kind of nothing really to say. He will be remembered by his music and being a genuinely amazing person, and we have that and that legacy that he left behind. So I just wanted to pass along my condolences for that. Everything honestly after this just feels so like light and fluffy compared to news like that, but I'm just gonna tell you what's going on in the world, in the EDM world. Some festival news for you guys. A lot of you might know Envision Festival, which honestly intrigues me a lot. It happens in Costa Rica, usually in February. They are one of the first festivals to announce their return in 2022. I was gonna say, is this surprising? It's not surprising. Hopefully this doesn't become the trend. I think we're gonna have to wait and see, but they are gonna be celebrating their 10-year anniversary of the festival. For those of you guys who don't know, Envision is like a really transformative event. It's very much on the side of like, it's arts and wellness and well-being and community driven, and it's very like involved in nature because it partially happens on the beach. So it's a very big transformative festival that obviously has music as well, and they're very sustainable and eco-friendly. So really cool event. Honestly, I feel like I should go to this because everyone who goes says that it's like a completely transformative experience. So anyway, they will be back in 2022. You can sign up on their website for getting news first and getting ticket sales first. In other news, Electric Zoo dropped their lineup early, phase 1 of their lineup. It is straight fire. I did an entire video on this on my YouTube channel, Emma Kapotes, reviewing the entire lineup, and there's so many hidden gems on there, so definitely feel free to check that out. Tickets, I believe, are on sale already. I know I'm selling through Pollen 3-day, GA, VIP, and Platinum tickets, so feel free to DM me if you want those. Ultra Taiwan was announced and is currently happening November 14th. It's a 1-day event, 1-stage event. Taiwan, I was reading, has been almost COVID-free since April. They pretty much like shut their borders and weren't letting anybody in and blocking access to the country. And so as of right now, it's happening. I'm sure there's gonna be health and safety guidelines, but it really isn't like detailed yet. So it's just really a weird time to be alive. I don't know how anybody else feels, but just seeing how it's handled in different countries, in different states, in different cities, like it just feels like a crapshoot, and it just completely depends upon where you live and what the COVID situation is like there. So who knows, but lucky for anybody who gets to attend that. The lineup is sick. What else do we have? In other news, we saw the announcement of Boo Orlando, which is very interesting, and I'm following this closely. Basically, it was the event being teased as in like one of the first festivals back in the United States, because I think Florida is in like phase 3 of reopening. They're in their own world, like doing their own thing. Honestly, I don't even think they care about COVID at this point. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a live, in-person, probably limited capacity event. So that's a Halloween event in Orlando, guys. Stay tuned for that. Insomniac posted an Instagram post about it. In other news, in New Jersey, Elements Festival has also been putting on events throughout this time. They've been all outdoor events, limited capacity, and I think most of them were in Pennsylvania, and they were camping festivals. But I was just looking into the details. They're doing the Meadow of Lost Souls, and it's in the Meadowlands in New Jersey, which is not that far from me. It's Halloween weekend, the 30th and 31st. There is a whole list of like COVID pre-testing you have to do, and then you are tested with a rapid test upon arriving there. It's a max of 500 people to the event, so tickets have not gone on sale yet, but that is gonna be happening. I'm on the fence. I thought it was gonna be in Pennsylvania, so I just completely ignored the post, but now that I know that it's in New Jersey, I don't know, fam. If I can score a ticket to it, maybe I'll go do that and just like see what it's like, tell you guys about the experience, vlog the whole thing, who knows. Halloween's my favorite holiday, so I would love to go to a show on Halloween. And then last 2 things, Space in Miami, which is an iconic EDM venue for techno and house lovers. I mean, it's huge for EDM fans. It has reopened. Pretty strict safety guidelines though. It's obviously limited capacity. There is no dance floor. It's set up like a day club where it's all tables. So they're all separated, which still fine. The decor and everything like that is crazy. I also heard there's an 11 p.m. curfew. I'm not sure if that's true, but that's what I heard. and mandatory masks, of course, and then they have hand sanitizing stations, all that fun stuff. So that sounds amazing. And lastly, I wanted to announce, if any of you guys had tickets or were interested, Hotel Elsewhere was unfortunately canceled. This happens in Florida, but they basically just said because of the current state of COVID, they decided to cancel the event in Orlando and refund all ticket purchasers. And yeah, they just value the love of the community and they want to put the safety of the community, friends and family first. So very interesting dynamic how that's in Orlando and that's getting canceled, and then you have Boo Orlando over here moving forward. Weird. I don't know what's happening anymore. Okay, lastly, you guys, my songs of the week. So this week I've been listening to some freaking bangers. I seriously have been on a kick. I honestly have to shout out Shirley Delgado really quickly because she did a video on her YouTube channel with her recommendations, like songs of the month. And 2 of these were from that video and she was so on point. So the first one is the song Deep End by John Summit. A lot of you may know this already. It was like, I think it was like the longest running single on Beatport at #1 this summer. It's the perfect house track. It's perfect. The bass line is amazing. The lyrics are incredibly catchy. You can shuffle to it, you can dance to it. I've been grooving in my car, like just on repeat nonstop. And it's just one of those tracks that's like infectious and addictive. I don't want to compare it to Losing It by Fisher, but you know how that popped off and you like listened to it a billion times when it first came out? That's this song for me now. So go listen to Deep End by John Summit. The next one I want to recommend is Griffin's new remix. I was so excited about this when he announced it because he hasn't really done remixes in a while, and that's how I first fell in love with Griffin, because he used to kill it on SoundCloud with his remixes. So he did the song You Broke Me First. It's amazing. It's a beautiful, soulful track. Will put you in your feels, everything you would expect out of a Griffin remix. And then lastly, I have a song from deadmau5, his song Pomegranate, but this is the Jay Robinson remix. Again, this was a Shirley recommendation. Bitch, it is so filthy. The drop in this is so good. My wig is snatched. I swear to God, like this song makes me want to party. It makes me want to go to the club. It makes me want to like just act like a bad bitch. Like it is so good, and just like the remix element of it, he just killed it. Jay Robinson killed it. Listen to the whole thing. The drop towards the end of it is filthy. I love it. It's just perfect to like, it makes you want to party. That's all I'll say. It makes you want to party. So again, that's Pomegranate by deadmau5, the Jay Robinson remix. Whew, you guys, I'm out of breath. We are at the end of the episode here. Thank you all so much for hanging with me. Thank you to Rena for coming on today's episode. Again, follow her Gaia XNL and at Melanin Ravers. And of course, you guys can always follow along with us at raveculturecast and at Emma Kapotes. Full episodes, if you want to watch the interviews, are available on youtube.com/Emma Kapotes. And don't forget to send in Listener of the Week nominations and submissions for what PLUR means to you. I cannot wait to read all of your emails, you guys, and all of the amazing stories that you send in. So very much looking forward to that. And of course, don't forget to shop the merch line. I'm so excited about it. I've been sleeping in the medium-sized t-shirt every single night. I love it. My beanie is the best thing ever. So I'm so excited about that being out. Oh, and of course, lastly, you guys can join the Facebook group community, Rave Culture Cast community. It's amazing. There are conversations happening there every single day. Like, it's been so awesome to see the friendship starting to form in there. So that is always open if you guys want to join the Facebook group community. And lastly, I said lastly twice, and lastly, the biggest thing you guys can do to support this podcast is to tell somebody about it, screenshot this and make it your Instagram stories, send a link to your friend, tag an artist in this that you would like me to interview. Like, all of those things really, really add up. Write a review on iTunes. Like, you have no idea how much that means to like a small creator. So thank you guys so much for supporting the podcast. I will be back next Wednesday with a new episode. Stay happy and healthy and enjoy your Wednesday, you guys. Bye, guys.